thank you for taking some time to do this. I wanted to have an opportunity to talk to the mayors that have come before me. So I had a conversation with Strickland right before you. I have you, and then I have Willie Harrington right after you today. And it really was just me wanting to make sure that I am capturing the journey of Memphis, quite frankly. Uh, the change that happens in a city doesn't happen because of one mayor. It happens because of a trajectory of mayors that have made different decisions that move the city where it needs to go. And so this conversation is really important for me because you may not remember this. Well, you probably remember, but I came in as the sustainability director in 2011 when you were mayor of the city of Memphis, and I was a joint city-county appointee. But
our first green plan.
yeah, the green print. Yeah, we did the green print. And so that's what really got me deeply engaged in a lot of the work that's happening. So I appreciate you coming here. I asked every mayor to tell us about a place that was significant for them in their journey. And we are here at Autozone Park, Redbird Stadium. And this place is a part of your legacy. This park was already here when you became mayor. So tell me about why this place is important for you.
Well, this is an honor for me to be able to just sit and talk for a minute with you. I really appreciate you asking me to do this. I like the way you phrased it. You did not say the day of a city's or one term of a city's existence. You said a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what it is. Too many times we are prone to look at our city on a given day, as if it has reached its destination. If it's a good day when we look at it, we tend to say, oh, it's a great city. But so many times the day we look at our city, it may be, as Sean Penn said in the movie Dead Man Walking, it may be the worst day of your life. Sean Penn said, never judge a man on the worst day of his life.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, but we look at our city along a continuum, and that's why I like the phrase journey. You were correct. The park was here when I became mayor. But for those of us who have been around for a long, long time, I remember when this was one of the most decrepit areas you can find. I'd come up from law school around down at Ole Miss. Couldn't afford to stay in the Peabody, but I stayed in the old Tennessee Hotel. Of course, now, rooms at the Peabody were $14, but I couldn't afford that, and that included parking.
Oh, wow.
But in any event, there was a dirty movie theater right where we were some of the most decrepit conditions you would find anywhere. So to see this place evolve, which I did for the longest during construction, folks said it'll never happen because that big hole, they called it the country's largest swimming pool. They said it'll never happen because of the nature of the structure, a not-for-profit, only a fabulous downtown baseball park. It'll never happen, but it did happen. So that's why it was so crushing when the prospect of this beautiful place across the street from the Peabody, which anchored the beginning of our downtown, the folks said, hey, we may have plywood on it. We may have it chained up. A hedge fund was purchased, and they wanted to get rid of it. And I just said, whoa, no, that can never, never be. But so much for the down days, because they say darkness doesn't last forever.
Right.
And so when we were able to get with the Cardinals and to come up with a financing arrangement that made sure that by the time the bond or you would still have a lease contract with the Cardinals in St. Louis, they were good partners on it. So to me, it just means that our revival is not just a fleeting moment. Our revival is here to stay. So it means that much.
Yeah.
It wasn't here when it was founded, but we resuscitated, brought it back.
Yeah.
And you're taking on greater levels of the improvements that are coming.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
And we're still working with them to upgrade the park now. So it's interesting to see that journey. I think when it happened, you called the deal a way to return ownership of Autozone Park back to its fans. So when you said that, what did you mean by that? And
Well, if you look at baseball, it's the great American pastime, I would say, because I'm don't tell my preacher this because much mom. I worked every Sunday.
yeah,
Eat right over here at Hughes or across the street, and to see the families, little old boys, little old girls with baseball bats, little caps on crooked, I mean, entire families. And that's what we need. It's good to have tourists come in, but they're coming to a place that they own,
right,
not some outside group who may pack up and leave one day.
right.
This is the heart, and a body ought to own its heart. And
Mhm.
we own this. We take pride in this place.
Yeah,
So this is our core.
yeah,
It's not way out somewhere where we got some cheap land. This is a symbol of we believe in the core of the city.
yeah. There was when you were mayor, you tackled problems head on, just like this one.
Yeah.
One of the things I remember was the whole pension crisis and all of the things that were going on during that time. And oftentimes people forget that some of the financial flexibility that we have today is as a result of some of the changes that were made during that time period where you restructured some things. Tell me about the decision-making process that you had at that time. I know that had to be probably one of the bigger decisions that you had to make.
Sure. Let me and I've watched your career. I've seen you for years with your mom and dad, and I never heard you just run around and say, "I want to be in politics one day. I want to be elected something. I want to be like you."
Yeah.
I never did hear that. You were a very purpose focused young man, particularly working with me. I knew that that decision could very well lead to my defeat. Because that's why throughout the whole thing, you never heard me get mad and curse at the police officers, at the firefighters. I told them anytime we would talk, you would be less than a man, less than a woman, if you didn't stand up, but you're fighting for your family's insurance. This is not some luxury. So I know what you're doing. But I'll sum it up this way. I would much prefer to see, as did happen, that I lose re-election than to win re-election and to be known as the mayor who took the city into bankruptcy. I don't want to get into the whole book of what the threats we were facing because there was a serious move to say that if we defaulted on any of our pension or health care liabilities, that our charter, and in light of things that have happened recently, that without anything more, we would have forfeited our charter and city government would devolve into county government. There was an actual bill drawn up, ready to be thrown in the hopper. That's the existential threat that our city faced. We had to do it. I do have regrets. Not that I made the decision, but I have regrets for the pain, the suffering, and the anxiety that our employees, they're just like us.
Right.
Police officers with families, children, and here's somebody threatening to take away the health insurance as they knew it. Sure, we had the Affordable Care Act come in, but no one knew whether it was going to work or not.
Right.
So we had to make the decision. I don't regret that I made the decision, but I do regret the pain and suffering and anxiety that so many of our hardworking employees had to go through during that time.
So on a more positive note, one of the things that I also remember was a program that you had called 25 Square.
Yeah.
I thought it was a remarkable program where you had 5x5 block areas of the city where we would focus on those areas in terms of cleaning up blight enforcement, code enforcement, weed mitigation. What was the concept behind that and what made you want to take on an effort like that?
Well, man, as you know, I've been living right in the core of the city for 40 or 50 years. No fence around my house, anything. So I drive it.
Yeah.
I drove by blight every day. I drove by potholes. I drove by garbage cans turned upside down. I drove by folks being evicted. But sometimes I would see a truck come in. There might be 2 or 3 households whose belongings are piled up on the curb. There may be a tree limb down. But one of our trucks come through because someone complained about a pothole that patched those 2 potholes and drive right on by all the filth on the curb. I said, wait.
Yeah.
So we sat down, and communication was key. When people would call in, can you get out here today? No, man, we can't come today. It's going to be 2 weeks before we get there. But when we come, we're going to clean up everything in your neighborhood. That evicted person's furniture that's been there for 2 weeks, it's gone. That tree limb that's been blocking the sidewalk where kids have to get out in the street on their way to school.
Mm-hmm.
When we come in, ma'am, bear with us. When we come in, you're going to have a new neighborhood. And it worked.
Yeah.
It worked, and I'm glad that you're continuing. I forgot what you're calling
it. Yeah, we'll
it.
call it Blight Zero, but 25 Square was definitely the inspiration behind it.
And people, once they found out that, no, we're not going to promise you we'll run out there tomorrow and patch one pothole.
Mm-hmm.
We did everything. If there's a grate over a drain that was dangerous, if there's a manhole cover that's missing, when we left there, you could tell we had been there.
Yeah. So what would you say? I mean, I pointed out some issues that I remember, but what would you say was one of the biggest issues that you faced during your tenure, and how did you respond to the public's perception of the decision making and all of the factors that went into whatever decision you made during that time?
I'm glad you raised that. And I tell you all the time, maybe one of these days you'll listen about reading all this social media stuff. And I listened to the folks who were blasting me about this farm. I would have left town. All I'm saying is study, make sure you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, that you know that in your heart you're doing the right thing. And once you become satisfied, my test, I may have shared this with you before, a clear conscience is the softest pillow.
Mm.
And I know mayors, particularly men, that stuff don't follow me, man. But you go home and that stuff is flipping your butt.
Yeah.
You don't want to share it with your wife, because all that kind of stuff. But once I was convinced that this was the right thing to do, to hell with all the other stuff I've done. And I'm sure you've experienced this when you're dealing with the private sector. Keep in mind, we were dealing with a hedge fund, we were dealing with a pro baseball team, finance agencies, and there's certain things you just can't tell everybody every day.
Right.
I mean, because they are in the private sector, they don't want to give up anything that might give their competitor an advantage.
Exactly.
So there are things that I know, things that you know, but you just can't share.
Right.
Every day.
Right.
It's going to end up on the front page of the newspaper or whatever. But so the key thing is just make sure you got your stuff. Make sure you got your facts, and that you know. And sometimes I know you hear people say, man, he's not making the decision fast enough. Well, you can't make a decision until you have all the facts.
Right.
And folks say it's 2 sides to every ring. No greater lie has ever been told. When you sit in your seat, it's about 18 sides to everything.
It is.
And so just make sure, I learned that, get your facts together. Just know, because the facts opinions change. Facts don't change.
Correct.
If you got the facts, they're not going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Opinions may change. And we did on the pension thing. We were in a death spiral. Going every day. Debt was growing every day.
Right.
The economy not the best. So once we looked at it and said, this is the best thing to do, hey, go for it.
Go for it. So what do you miss the most and what do you not miss?
I'm a nosy kind of person. And as I told you, I live in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
When I hear sirens and I live on the main drag, I want to know what's going on.
You want to be able to call and say, hey, what's happening over here?
I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Not that I can do anything about it. But, and then, you know, you ride, just the attention to detail that I feel our citizens deserve, and I would try to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I miss that. Let me tell you something that really angered me one time. When I did the bike lanes, there were a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Lanes.
Yeah, I remember those days.
And I was in Raleigh one time, and I saw some sucker on my payroll had gone down and painted bike lanes, but guess what? They painted them on top of bushes and things that had fallen in the street. And I said, wait a minute. I want to get out and start. In other words, bike lanes are an option. Cleanliness is not an option. And I said, now somebody, as this is why people hate in bike lanes.
Yeah.
It's things like that. Most people say, well, why did you get so perturbed? Because I've heard people saying that, look, he's doing all those bike lanes. We can't even buy a bike. He's not hitting the basics. That's a luxury. That's for rich folks. And so I miss the craving that I had to make sure every detail was taken care of.
Yeah.
So I do miss that. But as far as, and I like this about your style, at the beginning, I was never driven to say, I gotta be in the grandeur. I was doing much better before I became mayor. Took a big pay cut. As a matter of fact, to become mayor.
Yeah.
I don't miss that. Matter of fact, I just don't miss that. My wife hated it. So she's not that kind of person.
Yeah.
I don't miss it. But now I do miss this. I do miss when I see challenges. I do miss that craving in me to say, yes, it's big, but by George, if we get together, we're bigger.
Yeah.
We're bigger than the whole thing. So I miss the challenges that being mayor brings you every day.
Yeah.
Huge challenges. And I'll quote Richard Nixon, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. I miss that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I just want you to know how much I appreciate your service and what you've done for our city, what you still do. I appreciate all the calls and conversations that we still have, because it means there's not many people that know what it's like to be the mayor. And there's even less people that know what it's like to be the mayor of Memphis. And, you know, just to have you as someone that I could call and count on for sound counsel that doesn't want anything. You only want Memphis to be better. And so I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate it, and thank you for taking your time today.
Thanks a lot.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Keep up a good job.
Thank you.